Well, hello there, beautiful people. I'm going to do another tarot reading into Keir Starmer's disastrous speech. He talks about better connections with Europe. He neglects to mention anything to do with small businesses closing, knife crime, women's protection. He doesn't talk about the hospitality industry. He doesn't talk about young people's unemployment. And I think his speech was disastrous. So I'm going to do a quick tarot reading into it and just see what the universe and the tarot will tell us about this speech and whether this is a desperate plea of a man who should have resigned, or what the tarot cards are going to tell us about this absolute shocker of a speech. You should go and watch it if you want to see everything that he said. I mean, it's painful to watch, not going to lie. I find him quite insufferable. But anyway, working people. Let's have a look and see what the tarot cards will tell us about it. Again, there are no facts here. This is purely an intuitive tarot reading to see what the universe and the cards will tell us. So I want to see, I've got a few questions here. The first question is, did he take responsibility at all? Because I feel like he attempts to claim he does, but then blames the people and the voters and reform. So let's see what the cards will tell us about Starmer taking responsibility for the election loss, obliteration, shall we say. Let's see what the tarot will say. Did Keir Starmer take responsibility for the election loss? Oh, card jumper. Two of Pentacles. So this coming, I'm going to just have a quick look at it because it came out and tell you what it says. But this basically says he doesn't want to, he should, he doesn't want to, he should, he didn't, he should. It's kind of like juggling everything in the air. If he takes responsibility, he's admitting fault. If he doesn't take responsibility, he's hoping that everybody won't notice. So it's a juggling card. It's sitting on the fence. But let's see if it comes up in the reading. So Keir Starmer taking responsibility for the election loss. Let's have a look and see what the tarot will tell us. First card out, Nine of Pentacles. Second card, Nine of Wands. Third card, the Queen of, in the past, the Queen of Swords. In the middle is the Hierophant. That is very interesting. The outcome is the Hangman. The Ace of Pentacles is the advice with the Two of Pentacles. How very interesting. So he did not take responsibility. In fact, the way I'm looking at this is he is sitting pretty. He's got more money than sense. He's happy in his little nest and doesn't really care, quite honestly, about the people, and he's not taking responsibility as to why they lost. It's his last stand. Like, this is his last fight to try and keep himself in the position that he's in. What I find interesting is how he wants to present to us, and that is with the Hierophant. He wants to present himself as a man in power, a man who's got authority, a man who knows what he's talking about, a man who is in control and is leading the people, and this is a very authoritarian figure. So this can be governments, actually. It can be governments, it can be, head of religions, it can be all of those kind of the powers that be card. So it's quite interesting that that's how he's trying to present himself to us. Now, with the Queen of Swords in the background, it kind of means that there is some brutal truth that he is having to face, but he's not really prepared to face the brutal truth. He's just hiding behind blaming other people. And from what I got, which I suffered through the speech, or most of it, what I got was he's blaming everybody, including reform and that sort of side of things, rather than actually looking at the fact that people might not want him in power anymore. With the outcome being the Hangman, it's like things could get a little more difficult for a little while longer for us. Well, we get more clarity and looking at things from a different perspective. But there is brighter days to come. There's a new beginning. There's something new coming our way, new and shiny coming our way. And this juggling card. So it's in the balance at the moment. I actually think his role is in the balance at the moment. because he hasn't actually taken any responsibility. So that's interesting. So it's like he thinks he's still sitting pretty, and he threw a lot of other people under the bus in that speech rather than himself. I don't know if any of you have suffered through it, but go wild. Try not to vomit in your cup. Right, I want to look at a few things. Why did he neglect to talk about knife crime, the boats, safety for women and children, small businesses closing, unemployment rising at crazy levels, shoplifting, illegal migration and the spending on it, hospitality being absolutely, almost eliminated. We have more pubs closing since he took power than any other time. So let's see. Why did he not want to mention any of those really important things that are obvious to the rest of us? Let's see why in his speech, which I think is a car crash, why didn't he mention any of those important things? Let's just shuffle the cards. Oh, this is a jumper. The King of Swords. So the King of Swords is almost like the truth is too hard to face, and he doesn't want to even consider it. He's avoiding almost talking about the things that are really bothering people because he knows he hasn't got a plan to fix them. That's what popped into my head. All right, let's have a look and see. Oh, another jumper. The Hierophant. Trying to be in a position of power or controllers even. He might even have people above him telling him not to resign. Interesting that pops into my head. Right, why did he not mention all of those things? Why did he not mention? Let's see what the cards say. First card, Three of Swords. Really painful. Almost too painful to talk about. Vulnerability, the Star. I can't really show that card. The Star card. In the past is the Page of Cups. In the middle is the Hermit. The outcome is the fight. Advice is the Eight of Pentacles and the Emperor. Interesting. So why didn't he talk about knife crime, small boats, safety for women and children, small businesses, and all of that? So why didn't he talk about it? It's too painful. He doesn't want to bring up anything that causes pain. He wanted this speech to only talk about other things and not actually talk about the real problems that we're facing. It's very painful. He knows that the British people are upset about all of those things, and he doesn't really want to, he doesn't know how to lead the way. He doesn't know how to get us out of that or have a plan actually to get us out of those problems. He's in a very vulnerable position with regards to all of those with the Star card over there. So definitely a vulnerability card for sure. And with the Page of Cups in the past, that is like your wish-washy page. It's your it can be a messenger card, it can be someone who's got the dreamer, but it's also it's not someone who's very confident in any of those areas at all. And considering he worked for the CPS, he should be more than capable, right? But it's almost like he doesn't want to take it on at all. So he didn't want to bring it up at all, and because it makes them even more vulnerable than they are at a party at the moment. Not bringing them up, he was hoping to avoid a fight, but actually what he's going to do is bring a fight to him. He's going to bring more anger to him for not mentioning and not coming up with a solution as to why, a lot of the reasons that I've mentioned there are actually the reason why Labour lost this so badly in this local election, because of those reasons. And he didn't want to bring any of them up in this save his ass speech because he was afraid of the fight that it would bring to him. Now, the advice for us is hang in there. There is a plan. There is a plan that is being worked on, but it is by someone more powerful. It is by someone who actually does have his ducks in a row. And it is just, you know, there is a plan, but it isn't going to be with Kia. I think we all know that, right? Anyway, so I'm going to look into, there's two other things I find very, very interesting, that he has brought in Gordon Brown as the, let me just read the title here because I think it's Special Reviewer on Global Finance and Global Finance Cooperation. This is the man who gave away billions or lost billions in gold for the UK, sold it, and then the value of gold skyrocketed. So I want to look into why he has appointed Gordon Brown as a special advisor for that particular role. You know, bringing up a has-been past Labour person to advise. It's kind of desperate, in my opinion. Let's see what the cards want to say. Why did Starmer bring in Gordon Brown? So the first card down will be Starmer. The next card will be Gordon Brown. What's in between them? Past, future, and the advice for us. Oh. So why did he bring in Gordon Brown? See what the cards say. Again, no facts yet, just an intuitive reading. Don't know what you guys think. Don't know if you've watched the speech. First card, Four of Cups. That's Starmer's card. Second card, Page of Cups. Wish-washy. In the past, the Empress. In between them, interesting, the Outcome, the Fool, the Advice, the Ten of Swords, and the Temperance card. So, why did he bring in Gordon Brown? So it was an offer that was made to him. It wasn't really something he was initially looking at. He was focusing on the problems in front of him, but it was offered to him that this could be a solution. And Gordon Brown came in as kind of the helpful Page of Cups, which is a wish-washy. It's, you know, no plan really. It's someone who doesn't really have all their ducks in a row. It's someone who's not very strong. It's someone who, you know, maybe was seen as more favorable when he was in charge. For some people, maybe that's true. With the background being the Empress, it was like, let's go back to when Labour was good, when Labour had everything in, when they were powerful, when they were in position of having abundance at their fingertips, and you know, they sort of had lots of options available to them. So it's kind of like going backwards in time to try and bring some of those supporters from back then back forward with them. With the Ace of Wands in the middle, this is a firecracker. This is a fire starter. This is a brand new fiery beginning. That's what they're trying to present to the people, is that, oh, we'll bring him back in because, you know, he was, but I think too much has come out about what happened. I believe there is a little saying, the gold giveaway, which comes with Gordon Brown. So I'm not sure it's going to go the way that he thinks. When you've got this card as the Outcome standing next to this card on the one side and this card on the other side, for me, that is, you know, it's a leap of faith, but it's like you take a leap of faith and you've either got everything in order to do that, or you're going to fail dismally and look foolish. Now, the Temperance card is balance, bring things back into temperate. And I think that's what they're trying to do by bringing Gordon Brown back in, is to bring things back to a temperate level. And it's sort of surrendering to the fact that they need to temperate things. But the Fool card next to that, for me, that is a foolish move. And that's how I interpret that. Now, I want to look into this woman that he's also brought in as his special advisor. And this is Harriet Harmer. And she's going to be the advisor on women and girls. Now, I find that interesting, because she doesn't really get behind the single sex spaces, and it's almost like she's misinterpreted the Supreme Court's decision on this, which I haven't looked into too much, but I kind of gather that it's, from what I understand, is she still wants to include women who used to be men to use these spaces, which is kind of not the point for a single sex space, is it? So I want to see why he's bringing this woman in and what his reasoning is behind at putting her as a special advisor, when, you know, she's got a lot of criticism with her views on women, safety of women and girls as it is. So to bring her in as an advisor for this, I think is probably not in the best interest. So let's see. Why did Keir Starmer bring in? Oh, jumper. The Two of Wands is the jumper. Now, this is interesting because it's kind of like almost looking at it from a different perspective, but also, you know, it was 50-50. There could have been someone else that they were looking at for this position, or maybe they was offered to someone else and they didn't want it. So we'll see whether if that comes up somewhere else in the reading. It's not a very strong card to read on. Oh. Okay. Steers properly. Why did he bring in Harriet on? Sorry, I dropped too many cards there. Let's see what the cards say. First card, the Knight of Cups, Messenger, Page of Wands, Three of Wands in the background, in the past, Knight of Pentacles in the middle. The outcome is the Four of Wands. The advice is the Ace of Wands and the Two of Cups. So that is interesting. There are no major arcanas in this at all. Not one major arcana. So I would say that it's a bit of a weak appointment at best. You've got the Knight of Cups, which is Keir Starmer, which is like your bringing in a message. It's also wishy-washy, a bit of a you know, not a solid, you know, he hasn't got a solid plan. He's just like the dreamer kind of guy. So it's a bit of like a it's almost like a plaster over a wound that needs stitches. It's like, we'll bring her in to put in, like, we're thinking about women and children, but it's a bit wish-washy. It's not really as strong and powerful. Now, the interesting thing is all three cards in the middle are all facing one direction. So no one's facing inwards. It's like no one's facing each other. They're all facing in one direction. So I feel like he's brought in someone who's kind of got the same views as him. And it's the Page of Wands. It's also a little bit fire, but it's not a heavy hitter. It's a page. It's someone, you know, it's just not a very strong personality of a card. And to put someone with not a very strong personality into that position doesn't fill anyone with much, you know, confidence that it's going to go right. Now you've got the Three of Wands in the background, so it was like we had to bring in someone, and it's like, you know, easiest option. You've got the Knight of Pentacles in the middle here, which is your slow and steady. So to what they wanted us to see from a public perspective is that they're thinking about things and they're taking their time and they're, you know, getting everything in order. And you know, as a knight, he is a slow mover, but he is methodical. So that's what they want us to believe, is that they're bringing in someone who's going to look after women and children in a methodical, practical way. With the outcome being the Four of Wands, this is a gateway card. This is like a walking through the gateway card. Now, with her views and not understanding or not actually producing the documents that the Supreme Court actually said that single sex spaces need to be for single sexes, biological single sexes. I have nothing against trans people, but I do think girls should be able to use the toilet without men in their toilets. There are uni-space toilets. I get that. Everyone's welcome to them. But if people want to use a bathroom with only females, I think they should be allowed to, or only males, I think they should be allowed to. But that is my view. So with this card as the gateway and like a breakthrough kind of card, what they're looking for is to get a breakthrough and to get to break into this, to look like they're breaking through into the protecting women and children. Now, the advice for us is these two cards. Now, the Ace of Wands is it's a fiery new beginning. It's a fiery, stand up for your rights. Make sure that you understand them. Understand the Supreme Court thing if you need to. Make sure that you are understanding it, because people need to come together on this and make sure that it is being upheld. I'm going to flick over two more cards and just ask, will she be good in this role? Will she be good? There's Harriet Harmer as the advisor for women and girls. Like, will she be good? So I've got this independent Nine of Pentacles card. And the second card is the Eight of Pentacles. So she might not be absolutely disastrous at it. She's a very independent thinker. She's not going to be perfect at this role in any way, shape, or form, but not any of us. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to make sure that she is achieving the protection of the women and children. And she might have to work on her craft to get it to the level that it needs to be on. But from the looks of it, she's quite an independent thinker, and she might not toe the line, and she might actually take control of the situation and get things over the line, bring things into truth and integrity by getting out of troubled waters and going into the smooth. So she might well eventually get the messaging right and produce the documents and things that everybody's waiting on, for the protection of women and children. So we'll see. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt for now. I might look into it at a later date when she's settled into her position and see. But she seems like she might be a little better at her new role than Gordon Brown is going to be at his. I want to see if this, say, your bump speech is going to work for him, or if Labour are going to still potentially push him out. So let's see if this speech will save him within the Labour Party. Okay, let's see what the cards say. Again, no facts. This is literally just an intuitive reading. First card, Three of Cups. Second card, Six of Pentacles. In the past, the Four of Swords. In the middle, the Two of Swords. So will this save him? At the moment, I'm not getting any yeses. The outcome is going to be a wish come true with the Knight of Pentacles and the Sun. So, wow. What's just popped into my head is it's not going to save him. It might give him 2 or 3, and it could be weeks. There is some more stuff that could potentially come out about him. In the past, there's still some hidden stuff in the past that could still come out. I'm not getting a yes for it saving him. I'm getting it might buy him a little bit more time. With the Six of Pentacles, it's like just, it's a generosity card. And it is not the worst aspected, but it is kind of like, because you've got the Sun underneath, but you've got the Four of Swords right next to it. So it's not beautifully aspected. So in that sense, it's kind of like just buying a bit more time, throwing a little bit out there and hoping people won't notice too much. But there is definitely, he might even travel somewhere as well coming up. travel somewhere to kind of avoid any more heat on him with regards to this. But I don't see it saving him. It might buy him a little bit more time, but in the end, I think people's wishes will come true and he'll be pushed out. And it's kind of like the advice is slow and steady, days are going to get brighter. So I kind of like that it's not going to save him, but it might buy him a little bit more time. So now I know I did a look into Keir Starmer a little while ago, but I want to see if he'll still be here at the end of the month. Let's just ask. And I'm going to do it in a slightly different spread, just because the Kachina knife isn't great for timing. So let's just have a quick look. Will Keir Starmer still be here by the end of, what are we in? May. See if Keir Starmer will still be here by the end of May. This is a 7-card spread that you do. It's got 2 override. Can bring over 2 advice cards in the middle as well. So I'll have a look into it and see what we get from that on the sort of timing of it. Will he still be there by the end of May? Okay, let's see. So the first card is the Ace of Cups. That's in the past. 6 of Swords is where we are right now. The Lovers card is in the near future. The Emperor is the overriding feeling of this. The Magician. Sneaky strategy. The 7 of Swords. And the King of Wands. Now, interesting enough, that is my Nigel Farage card. That's interesting. My advice is the Knight of Swords and the... came that way. Knight of Swords came first and then the 9 of Cups came second. So I can't see him. There is a sneaky strategy he has to try and stay there until the end of May. There's a creative overflow of sort of options that they're coming up with to try and lessen the damage to him and get him out of troubled waters. At the moment, he's paddling like crazy to get himself out of troubled water. And there will be a political agreement coming up in the near future. So there's definitely a political agreement, backdoor agreement kind of thing coming up with him and somebody else. I'm not sure who that somebody else is. With the 6 opposite the 7, there is a sneaky strategy to try and get him out of this troubled water that he's in. But it's also your Thief card, the guy who does things underhand, the not so nice, winning by all costs, and doesn't matter who, you take away all your opponent's swords before you can go into battle with them. You've got the Magician card in here, and because he's got the 7 next to him and the Lovers opposite him, it's a bit like it's a distraction. It's a distraction for the fact that there is an overriding power above him that is pulling the strings here. And I get the feeling that even if he wanted to go right now, he would have to run it past whoever's above him to get the authority to do that, and I just don't see him having the strength or the authority to do that. So this movie magic card is quite interesting where it's placed in this, and it feels like a bit of an illusion, but it's more like there's going to be some more shenanigans going on to distract from this. But with the advice being the Knight of Swords and the Cups, there's going to be someone coming in with a much bigger, much faster, much more equipped plan, and we will get the outcome that we want. But it's going to take a little time. And again, I've got the 6 weeks, maybe. I don't want to say months because it's swords fast, so I'm going to say up to 6 weeks maybe that we have to put up with this. But we'll keep looking into it because things can change, right? We'll see. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of time left. Let's hope that we can manifest that. because I don't think I can do too much more of this. It's just been one calamity after another. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking into for this. I just feel like it was a disastrous speech, and he avoided all the things that everybody's really upset about. You know, and when he referred to in his speech, he referred to reform as dangerous opponents and setting the country on a dark path. Is he being for real? So yeah, I just think he's lost the plot a bit, and I think he's. Oh, I wanted to look into one more thing. He said he's going to block agitators for the far right coming in to do this Unite the Kingdom rally. I know they blocked a few already, but I think that's attacking our free speech. You know, whether you go to the rally or not, whether you like Tommy Robbins or not, it's all irrelevant. People should still be allowed to have an opinion. So I want to see if they are going to block more people speaking at this Unite the Rally, and block more people coming to the UK if they have different opinions to the opinions he wants people to have. I think he's using "you're not conducive to society" as the reason for blocking people coming over. I might do a whole video on that. That's a good idea. But let's have a look and see, will they block more people to come over? I think the Unite the Rally is this weekend. I don't know, I could be wrong. Let's just see if they are going to block more people coming over with far right views. What does he call them? Designed to intimidate and control the city of London. Absolutely mental. He said that in his speech, by the way. So have a look at that. He does talk about it in his speech, and I just think it's outrageous. Just stopping people talking. I mean, we know he arrests people for hurty words, so I guess. So let's see if he's going to block more people speaking at the Unite the Rally, or even coming over to speak at the Unite the Rally. I might just do 3 cards for this. Unnecessary stress, the 6 of Cups in the middle, and the Queen. He's trying to get people to change their views, and it's an unnecessary stress. They're not coming here to do any damage to the UK. That is not their intentions. And it's like he's trying to sort of bring in this "I'm here to help people and look after people" card, but what he's actually doing is becoming obsessed with this rally. He's getting a bit obsessed with this rally and what people are going to say and what's going to come out of it. And I actually think he's got a bit of a fear around this rally. I just asked for more advice, and it's like it's going to wake up too many people, and he's worried about what the people will hear. Now, I find it interesting which flag is in this card, you know, and I think there will be a hell of a lot of those going around on that day. You know, I'm still considering going if I can get there after all the kids' things in the morning. But then you've got this card supporting it, so it's like, you know, people are going to wake up to what the control really is, and the obsessions, and the you know, people are going to wake up and break out, and it could be very, very damaging to the controllers, and they're trying to control what people hear, because they're still trying to keep control of what people believe in. They're trying to take control of a situation that's coming in too hot. This is, you know, they're trying to take control of a situation that they have lost control of, because they've lost control of the country. So that's what I've got there. I am so sorry if it's a very negative video. I thought the speech was dismal. I find him insufferable. And I thought the way that he spoke about everybody who voted for reform, whether you agree with them or not, is completely, you're entitled to your opinions on these things. But, you know, just watch his speech. It's awful. But there we go. That's what I got. That's what the universe has told me about this. So hope it was okay. If you liked the video, like it, share it with other people, and subscribe if you want. Thanks. Bye.